Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Back with another live stream. We have a lot of updates today, including Gabriel Magalhães signing a new contract. That is obviously big news. Yes, we want all the big signings, but you have to keep all the big players, especially the spine of your team. You have to keep it. We have an update from Fabrizio Romano on Benjamin Sesko. What's the latest on that? It's looking like we're advancing on talks. So it looks like we're about to make our decision on these two, which one we're going to pick. We're also going to talk about Gyökeres, obviously, and Kepa. Kepa is in the news. Arsenal want Kepa as a backup goalkeeper. We'll be discussing that. It wouldn't be a transfer if he didn't sign a Chelsea player, right? It's been happening like since 2006 with William Gallas. It's there's always a Chelsea player. So this time it's Kepa, and then obviously Karetsas. What's the latest on all that? So let's get started. Let's start with obviously Arsenal posted this today. Gabriel Magalhães with Atita and Andrea Bata, and then this is what Gabriel had to say. I arrived here as a young player, and after almost 5 years, I'm so happy and I've learned a lot. I'm so proud of myself. It's an amazing journey, and I'm so happy to continue. I hope I win some trophies with this club because I love this club and my family loves this club that loves the club too. So Gabriel signing obviously is a big deal. He could easily have decided to go to Saudi Arabia or something. He's one of our longest serving players now. He's been here since 2020, and his contract is now going to expire in 2029. So that is one less thing to stress about in terms of the contracts. We had a lot of contracts to sort out. Gabriel, Saliba, Trossard, Partey, Martinelli, many others. There was like 7 or 8 names there to sort out. But now Gabriel has signed a new contract, and I don't know how much is going to be paid a week because he was like 18th in the list of how much players were getting paid. I'm sure he's gotten a pay rise there. I'm not 100% sure how much he's going to get now, but he definitely deserves it. And another thing a player like Gabriel deserves is trophies. This is one of the players that I look at and I'm like, yeah, this guy over the last 3 years, this is one of the guys who really deserves a trophy. Now, most of the players have played well in different seasons, but players like Gabriel and Saliba, look at them and you're like, yeah, these guys deserve to have like 3 or 4 trophies right now. They've been so consistent for 3 years straight. And for Gabriel, it's been very consistent for 5 years, I'd say. He didn't start very well. Actually, started very well in his first game, but there was a bit of mistakes here and there, a few mistakes, a few yellow cards and red cards here and there, but you could see how much Gabriel has improved throughout, not just in a defensive way, but also attacking. Like, how many games has Gabriel chipped in for us with crucial goals? This guy has scored winning goals for us at Stamford Bridge, winning goals for us at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He scored a big goal against Man City to put us in the lead at the Etihad. Like, he scores big goals. In the Champions League, he scored against teams like Sporting. I think he put us ahead in put us like maybe 2-0 or something in that game up. So Gabriel is absolutely fantastic. Hopefully he does recover from the injury as soon as possible. He's definitely a starter when he's fit. And I cannot wait to see what delivers again next. So this season he was really good. He was very unlucky not to be in the top 3 Arsenal players this season. He got injured in April. I would still put him in the top 3 Arsenal players for me, I think, this season. He got injured in April because I still have Ryan. Sorry if the internet went down there, but I think Gabriel deserves to be in our top 3 players this season as well. He was really good this past year, from the start of the season all the way to the point where he got injured. There's a reason why when Gabriel got injured, we were all crying and thinking, oh my goodness, really, before a Champions League game, Gabriel gets injured before Real Madrid, because he's that important. This season, the last 2-3 seasons, I don't like comparing them, but the last 2-3 seasons, people have been speaking about, Saliba being better than Gabriel. But this is the first season where I had a lot of people saying, oh my goodness, Gabriel is actually really good. He's better than Saliba, blah, blah, blah. But both of them are really good. That is a good combination. As I said previously, if you buy Gyökeres and then you sell Gabriel or Saliba, or both of them have been linked to moves away over the last 1 year. Imagine if you sell Gabriel and Saliba and then you buy Gyökeres and a winger, I'd still not be happy with that, because you'd have lost the spine of your team. You have to keep that defense there, because our defense has no problem. Ever since Gabriel and Saliba started playing together and Timber is there nowadays, Lewis Kelly has been brought back to the team, or has been brought into the team. We still don't concede that many goals. We still have the best defensive record, even in the Champions League. throughout the league phase, I think we considered how many goals? Maybe 2. 1 to Inter Milan. We kept a lot of clean sheets at home in the Champions League, including the game against Real Madrid. So defensively, we are very, very good, and Gabriel is one of the most important players in our defense. And as he says too, his family loves the club. You can tell, and the way his wife does the interviews, talking about Arsenal and all that, and his kid has been born in London too. So hopefully, Gabriel is here to stay for a long, long time. We have other contracts to sort out, so let's see how those ones go. I'm sure maybe this month you're going to hear about Trossard and Partey signing new contracts. So let's see how those ones go. So let's go now to the signings. How our signings looking like? So Fabrizio has an update on Sesko. Understand Arsenal are now advancing in negotiations for Benjamin Sesko after initial concrete talks reported last week. Discussions underway and proceeding well between all parties involved and player and clubs. No agreement yet now or expected this weekend, but advancing. So we are advancing in talks with Benjamin Sesko. I did say I'd expect Benjamin Sesko to be the Arsenal player 70%, Gyökeres to be the Arsenal player 30%. If it changes and it ends up being Gyökeres as the Arsenal player, it would be a bit surprising because looks like we really, really want Sesko to join the club. And from what I've read, it's not only Arteta who wants Sesko to join the club. I'm hearing like 80% of the board are agreeing with him. So the moment like 80% of the board agree, yeah, the player is going to join you. So Fabrizio has confirmed that we are advancing in talks. What is the earliest? What's the earliest you're going to sign him? I don't think it's going to be this week. It has to be maybe next week, sometime next week. He doesn't have any Club World Cup to go and play, anything like that. Same with Gyökeres. They don't have any other competitions to go and play during this preseason. So he will be resting. So if you want to get a deal done, it has to be quickly. And Leipzig wants the deal done quickly because they didn't make Champions League. They want to sort out their finances as quickly as possible. And one of the players they're looking to sell is Benjamin Sesko. So I think from that, we have to do the deal quickly because Leipzig want it done quickly. I think if you're slow, there's other teams that want Sesko. We've been told that Liverpool wants Sesko, Man United wants Sesko, and every single player usually leaves Leipzig. You might hear Bayern Munich or Dortmund trying to sign a player like this. So you have to be quick. If you really want him, you have to sign him. So Fabrizio has confirmed that. It's looking very likely that it's going to be Sesko. I asked you guys a question yesterday on yesterday's video. If you're watching this live, if you're here, there's already that 7 of you on Facebook and almost 70 of you on YouTube. Let me know. If you really, really wanted Gyökeres and you didn't want Sesko, if it's Sesko and Rodrigo, would you be a little bit happier, or it doesn't make any difference for you? You still wanted Gyökeres even if you're getting Rodrigo, or the fact that you're getting Rodrigo would make you feel better that you're getting Sesko because you're also getting Rodrigo? Let me know in the comment section. Did it change your mind on that? Let me know. Another update on Sesko from Miguel Delaney. He says that the Arsenal ownership and most of the hierarchy feel Benjamin Sesko prevents the best overall package, with the club continuing to do more work on the deal. One views that missing out on Sesko now might be like missing another Alexander Isak. So the Arsenal ownership of most of the hierarchy. So there, interesting enough, they haven't really mentioned Arteta. They've said it's I'm sure Arteta wants Sesko fast, I'm sure, but they also said that the Arsenal ownership and most of the board want Sesko. Now, I told you guys, I know it's a lot of different reasons why you can say you want Sesko and why you say you want Gyökeres. I'm sure from the board's point of view, they're looking at Sesko's age and saying, okay, this guy is going to give us more years. He's scored more goals as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old than what Gyökeres did when he was at that age. I'm sure they're also looking at the overall package, presents the best overall package in terms of wages. So maybe Sesko is, let's say, 75 million, but he's going to get 130,000 per week. But Gyökeres is like 67, but he's going to want 260,000 per week. Maybe that is part of the overall package they're discussing, and all the agent fees and all that. And with the club, Obviously, we've done previous work with Sesko. Edu has talked to them before. We wanted him last year. I think the reason why he didn't sign a striker last year is because we couldn't get Sesko, because we were talking to Sesko last year. It was looking like we were going to get Sesko, and then all of a sudden we ended up without a striker. And in January, we had the chance to sign Watkins, and he said, no, you're going to wait for the summer. So it's looking like most of the board members had already made up their mind on getting Sesko. And then on the last point, they're talking about Alexander Isak. So what happened with Isak? When we wanted Isak from Sociedad like 4 years ago, I think that zone he had scored very, very few goals, and people are talking about why do we want Isak? We should go for players like Vlahovic and players like that. And Arsenal did not go for him. I think we were told 50 million or 60 million for Isak, and every single Arsenal fan and Arsenal themselves said, nah, 50, 60 million is too much for Isak. Let's go and try and get someone else. Obviously, we ended up with Jesus, I think, the next year, and we missed out on Isak. So Isak ended up going to Newcastle, and we know how good of a player Isak has become today. So that is pretty much what they're saying with Sesko. They're scared of not signing Sesko, and then in the next 2 years, Sesko is like Alexander Isak and he's scoring 30, 40 goals. And we missed out on him when you could have signed him for 60, 70 million. And at that point, maybe it's 120 million or something. So that is part of why they want him. So they've provided like 4 or 5 different reasons there why they want Benjamin Sesko. Advanced talks, the talks are advancing, as Fabrizio Romano has said. So yeah, at this point, I'm still saying 75% you're going to get Sesko, 25% is going to be Viktor Gyökeres, unless things really change and Leipzig like really demand a lot of money and Arsenal decide that nah, we're not going to pay this money. It's too much of a high demand. But let's see. I've heard today that it's around 75 million that Arsenal want to pay. What about Gyökeres? Miguel Delaney also says Arsenal went into the summer deciding between Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres, but it is understood Sesko is currently leading. Sesko has long been considered as having a higher ceiling, while there is a general view in the market that Gyökeres is overpriced. Wow, interesting. So they feel like Viktor Gyökeres is overpriced. I don't know, man. Maybe in terms of wages, but in terms of fee, for me, I feel like 67 million is like the correct figure. I actually would have thought Gyökeres would be more expensive than that, considering how many goals he has scored, unless there's such a huge tax on players scoring in the Portuguese league and Dutch league, because every time I hear people talking about Gyökeres, they always bring up it's the Portuguese league. Anyone can score 70 goals there. I usually hear people saying that. Personally, don't believe that. I feel like if you can score 100 goals in 2 seasons, whether you're playing in China, whether you're playing in South Africa, whether you're playing in Ghana, whether you're playing in India, Colombia, Canada, it doesn't matter which league you're playing in. If you can score 100 goals in 2 years, that still feels like that's such a good record. But we feel like 67 million is still overpriced. That is very interesting. So that has to do with 2 things. The league that he plays in and probably his age. He's not that old at all anyway. But maybe that is the reason. Maybe they feel like Gyökeres has like 2 years, maybe 3 years at the top, and Sesko has another 10 years at the top to go. It's an interesting one, man. I would still choose Gyökeres, but yeah, it's looking very likely that you're going to get Sesko. The only thing that is going to stop Arsenal from getting Sesko is if Leipzig refuse to, or they demand something like 80, 90 million, and Arsenal decide, no, you're going to go for Gyökeres. But Gyökeres is the first choice. That is who the Arsenal hierarchy wants, not just Arteta. As we've read there, it's most of the board members that want him. And if that is the case, that is probably who it's going to be. The moment all those board members say they want him and Arteta agrees as well, that is going to be the player that we're going to get. So let's see what happens over the weekend and into next week as well. Gyökeres, no one has actually made a bid for Gyökeres yet. Not United, not Chelsea. So again, I would not be surprised if Gyökeres ended up staying at La Sporting for another season. If we don't get him, hopefully that is the case. He ends up staying there and doesn't come to like a Chelsea or Man United or something. But yeah, there's no one who's really made bids for any of those 2 players at this moment, which is very surprising. I would have thought teams would be flooding in for him. But again, I guess people just think because he scores those goals in Portugal is not good enough. I don't agree, because we've seen him scoring in the Champions League as well. We've seen him scoring for Sweden as well, playing against different international teams, international players. But overpriced is interesting. Kepa, this is the news that came out last night. Ghana blog says Arsenal have made Chelsea's Kepa their main goalkeeper target this summer. It's crazy. You know, we never finished a transfer without signing a Chelsea player. Since 2006, we signed Gyökeres, and we've skipped very few transfer windows without talking to a Chelsea player. That's crazy. Even check 2015, like even 3 different managers, we've always been signing Chelsea players. Even under Emery, we signed David Luiz, and then 2020 Willian, and then a couple of years later Jorginho, and then a year later Havertz, and then a year later Sterling. This time it's Kepa. Now, Gallas didn't really work out. It was an okay buy. I think it did okay, but not that great. Czech was okay for one season when he won the Golden Glove. He made some really good saves. I think Jorginho was a good buy. I had no problem with Jorginho in the team. Obviously, Sterling and Willian completely failed. Completely, we didn't really spend any money on them, but completely failed. And then there's others that are mixed for fans, like Havertz and even a Benayoun. I think he played for Chelsea before. Like, there's so many players that have played for Arsenal and Chelsea, and we always sign players from there. Now, this is a little bit different. Kepa is going to cost Arsenal 5 million, and is going to be a backup goalkeeper. I don't have a problem with that. My first choice would have been to maybe give a Karl Hein an opportunity to be a second choice. I did not want us to go and spend 20-25 million on one Garcia on a second choice goalkeeper. I did not want that at all. But Kepa, as you can see there, he was playing for Real Madrid 2 seasons ago, and he did very well for them. And this past season, he's played for Bournemouth, and he's been very good for them as well. Kepa as a first choice, I would not want that. I'm not a big fan of him. He does make some good saves. Obviously Bournemouth is in the league, and we watch them almost every single week. Kepa is a good goalkeeper. And as a second choice goalkeeper for 5 million, if you can only spend 5 million on a backup goalkeeper, I am happy with that. So let me know, guys. Would you take Kepa for 5 million? Or do you think we shouldn't be going for Chelsea players at all? Go for a different goalkeeper completely, even if it's different in terms of or higher in terms of price. But for that kind of goalkeeper, who's played for Spain, he's played for Real Madrid recently, he's played for Chelsea, obviously won trophies at both of those teams, Champions League titles and all that, and he's played for Bournemouth this past season in the Premier League. He has the Premier League experience. He's been here for a few years now, and then back to Spain, and then back to England. For 5 million for a backup goalkeeper, I don't mind it, because I don't want us to go and spend 20-30 million on a goalkeeper. So I would take Kepa for that kind of money. But it's just so funny that we always get Chelsea players every single transfer window. But this time, it's Kepa. So Kepa to Arsenal looking very likely, because the main goalkeeper target, says Ghana blog, not just a goalkeeper target, is the main goalkeeper target. So both of them are Spanish as well. Our goalkeeping coach is Spanish, so I also guess he prefers working with Spanish goalkeepers. Graham Bailey also says Arsenal have made contact with Chelsea regarding a deal for Kepa Arrizabalaga, with the club looking for a capable number 2 goalkeeper. Kepa is willing to compete with David Raya and is ready to take a wage drop to facilitate the transfer. So if he's a capable number 2 goalkeeper, 100% agree with that. Kepa is definitely that. He's a capable second choice goalkeeper, no problem with that. He's going to provide competition. Yeah, I still think Raya is the better overall goalkeeper, especially in terms of playing out from the back. And if he's going to only cost us 5 million and is going to take a wage drop, I think that is fine. I don't think that will be the end of the world. Because how many games is our second choice goalkeeper going to play? FA Cup, Carabao Cup? I think Kepa is fine with that. 5 million, I would take him. Let's spend the money on a striker. Let's spend the money on a left winger. Let's spend the money on another striker or an attacking midfielder. Let all the money go there. Let's not go and spend 20 million on a goalkeeper, and then all of a sudden we don't have enough money to spend on a left winger. No. So I'm happy with that. Kepa to Arsenal looking very likely. Another player from Chelsea. We need to start predicting who we are going to get next season from Chelsea. maybe a Madueke or Mudryk from Chelsea next season. Probably we have to get someone from Chelsea every single season. That has to happen. Karetsas. According to Ghana blog, Arsenal are keen to sign 17-year-old Konstantinos Karetsas, but no contact has been made between the club and Genk. The Belgian side currently expect a fee that could rise to 25 million between any deal agreed to be formalized at a later date. So there's no rush with this youngster from Greece. I don't think they would even consider rushing it, because right now we should be looking at a striker and a left wing as the deals to do at the moment. We shouldn't be rushing to try and get a goalkeeper or, a young 17-year-old youngster who's not going to feature in the team that much. No. So this is an interesting one. Looking likely that we're going to get at least 4+ signings. We haven't, apart from Zubimendi, who's not yet 100% confirmed, we haven't really signed that many players. We haven't really advanced in too many deals. But in terms of the contract situation, we have a lot to do. That is just the truth. In terms of the contracts, players to sell, players who are currently on loan that we need to finalize their deals and all that. We are moving a bit, because getting Gabriel to sign a new deal, obviously we can't take that for granted. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. The internet is going up and down today, not sure why, but yeah, we're giving Gabriel a new contract. We're advancing in talks with players like Trossard and players like that. I am quite happy with that. Absolutely happy with that, no problem. But we need to get the deals done as quickly as possible. Hopefully this month we have at least 2 signings through the door, and before preseason, hopefully it's like 3 or 4 signings. So that's the latest news today. Let me see what you guys are saying. Mr. Glenn, big ups. Sesko is a done deal or not yet? Nope, but we're advancing in the talks. We have no done deal right now. I don't expect any done deal in the next couple of days. Maybe the earliest will be next week or something after the international games. Let's see. RK says, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the information. Let's see. Let me do this. Kepa is a good goalkeeper, says Joseph. I agree. I don't think he's a terrible goalkeeper. No. Solomon says he's a good goalkeeper as well. Moses says Kepa is better than Hein. Yeah, I don't think Hein has the experience anyway. Kepa is a goalkeeper who's playing like in Champions Leagues and all that. He's won Champions League titles and all that. Arsenal need to do their business. Ali says Amara. RK says please subscribe and smash the like button. I appreciate it. Kunbi says to me, any one of them is cool, either Sesko or Gyökeres. After that, Rodrigo can come in. Fair enough. Vladimir Putin. Wow. If it's Rodrigo and Benjamin, it's fine. Okay. Joshua says, I really wanted Gyökeres, but Sesko is a young, promising talent. I would surely welcome him to the Arsenal. I have no doubt in Atita's choice for talent. Lanikia says, waiting to see who will take jersey number 10 and legendary number 14. We have a number 9. Number 9 is Jesus, right? Yeah, we don't have a 10 and a number 14. That was Smith Rowe and Ket here. Hopefully it's Rodrigo 10 and the new striker 14 though. I feel like 14, someone needs to earn the number 14 before they wear it. Can Sesko be Anelka? Can Sesko be Anelka? I hope so. Anelka was really good, and Anelka was a youngster at Arsenal. He was incredible. Waiting to see who will read that one. Really happy with Big Gabby new contract, says Najib. Good day, Glenn. More updates always, please. Thank you, Suleiman. Always getting the new updates every single day. How are you doing, Musa? I'm doing good. Hopefully you are too. Gyökeres says saying we need Lukman. Tendai says Benjamin Sesko is the best. For watching from Botswana. Thank you. Kunbi says not a bad goalkeeper. I agree. 10 Max Dauman. Nah, Moses, he's too young. He's 15 years old. You can't give him the number 10. It's too much pressure. Musa says I don't understand Mikel Arteta plan this season about signing a striker. I don't think it's just Arteta who works on stuff like that. It's a lot of people working on stuff like that. But let's hope whichever we end up getting, it works next season, because that is a position that we really, really need badly. We need to see the striker other clubs are signing, says Rajab. Really? He's been sacked? I don't keep up with Tottenham news. It's happened maybe in the last few minutes, right? Because I was online right now. I haven't seen anything. Let's see. So if you're just joining, let me quickly recap what we've just talked about today. Let's start with this. We started with Gabriel. Gabriel signed a new contract today, so that is good news. As much as we want new signings, you have to keep players like Gabriel and Saliba and Saka. Those kind of players, you have to keep them. If you sold Gabriel and Saka today, even if you bought Gyokeres and Sesko, both of them, I would still not be happy. You still have to keep your better players. Gabriel said, I arrived here as a young player, and after almost 5 years, I'm so happy and I've learned a lot. I'm so proud of myself. It's an amazing journey, and I'm so happy to continue. I hope I win some trophies with this club, because I love this club and my family loves the club too. So well done to Gabriel. I don't know how much is going to be paid per week. I don't know if you have information on that yet, because Gabriel is getting paid. Gabriel is getting paid less than Tierney, less than Zinchenko, less than everyone else in the team, basically. I think he needs definitely needs a very, very high raise in that. Let me confirm if there's any news on him getting a new contract, or has it been announced yet? Or let me check that. Contracts. Gabriel Magalhães. Okay, so here he's still on 100,000 per week. So I'm sure he will get a pay rise though, because guys, even Jorginho is getting paid more than Gabriel. It's criminal. It's actually so criminal. And I know he signed for us a long time ago, but Gabriel is like our most important player. Sterling was getting paid more than Gabriel. Tomiyasu is getting paid more than Gabriel. Jorginho is getting paid more than Gabriel. Tierney, Zinchenko, all of these guys are getting paid more than Gabriel. So I'm sure he's going to get a big pay rise. Maybe even double from 100,000 to 200,000, because Gabriel needs to be like in the top 8, not even top 8, top 5 best highest paid players at Arsenal. He's 19th before the new contract. That is crazy. So well done to him. Fabrizio has given an update on Sesko. Understand Arsenal are now advancing in negotiations for Benjamin Sesko after initial concrete talks. So we are advancing in talks with Sesko. It's looking likely that he is going to be our striker signing. Miguel Delaney also confirms that the Arsenal ownership and the most of the hierarchy feel Benjamin Sesko presents the best overall package, with the club continuing to do more work on the deal. One views that missing out on Sesko now might be like missing another Alexander Isak. Miguel Delaney also says Arsenal went into the summer trying to decide between Sesko and Gyökeres, but it is understood Sesko is currently leading. Sesko has long been considered as having a higher ceiling, while there's general view in the market that Gyökeres is overpriced. That is very interesting. Arsenal want Kepa. Arsenal have made Chelsea's Kepa Arrizabalaga their main goalkeeper target this summer. It's only going to cost us around 5 million, so I'm happy with that. Graham Bailey also says Arsenal have made contact with Chelsea regarding a deal for Kepa Arrizabalaga, with the club looking for a capable number 2 goalkeeper. Kepa is willing to compete with David Raya and is ready to take a wage drop to facilitate the transfers. And finally, Karetsas, the young player from Greece, is going to cost us between £25 million and £33 million, but the deal is not going to be done right now. It's going to be done a little bit later in the transfer window. So there's a lot of updates today. We are starting to get a few updates. We are now 6 days into the transfer window. Over the weekend, it's going to be now a week since the transfer window opened. Zubimendi, I saw someone commenting yesterday and saying, I've just watched Zubimendi playing. He was terrible. It really depends on how you watch football, though, because I read that comment. I was like, oh my God, really? You watched that game and you felt like Zubimendi was terrible? That is crazy. I personally felt like Zubimendi was really good yesterday. And Merino is actually a very good finisher, as I posted yesterday. Merino is a really good striker, surprisingly. What we learned from Merino yesterday and from other games he's played for Arsenal, if Merino is playing as the defensive midfielder and is doing the job that Partey usually does to get into the box and take the pass from David Raya, Merino is not good at that. He loses the ball a lot in those positions. If Raya is passing the ball to him in tight positions, Merino does not have the ability to move quickly and turn around and move with the ball. He will lose the ball. Partey is really good at that. If you give Partey the ball in between three players, he can get out of that in that position because he's used to playing there for Atletico Madrid and for Arsenal and for Ghana for a lot of years. So he's really, really used to that. We can say the same about Merino, but I feel Merino is more of a box crusher. We saw two different Merinos yesterday. The Merino who's going to play as a number 6 and collecting the ball from the goalkeeper is not good. But Merino as a number 6 in terms of tackles and interceptions and winning duels is very good at that, but not picking up the ball. But the Merino who goes forward and finishes chances and runs into the box is very good. He's playing like Aguero. Like the way he's finishing the chances is absolutely incredible. So that is interesting for next season. I feel like we're going to use Merino in a lot of different positions next season, but I don't think we should be using him as a number 6. Number 6 should strictly be these two players, Partey and Zubimendi, and sometimes Declan Rice if Partey and Zubimendi are not available. But Merino, I feel like is still going to be used as a striker and maybe as a number 8. Now, I don't think Merino is going to be starting games. I have no problem with Merino starting a few games here and there, even if you have a striker and a forward player. We need rotation. That is something that I want to see next season. Rotation. All these players that I want to join Arsenal, I want us to, have different ideas, different options for the second half. The reason why I don't want players like Havertz to leave and players like Trossard to leave is because you need those bench players, and I don't want us to look at the bench against Man City and we have 7 youngsters on the bench and 4 defenders on the bench and 3 goalkeepers. I don't want that. If you look at our bench and you have Nwaneri there, and you have Kivio there, and you have Calafiori there, and you have Ben White or Timber there, and then you have Partey Zubimendi there, and then you have Merino there, and then maybe Havertz there, and then Martinelli or Trossard there. That is a good enough bench than what we had this past 2 seasons. So Merino is going to play a part. And the games where we are struggling to score, like against Everton and West Ham at home, nils and all that, if the striker is struggling to score, let's say Sesko in this case is struggling to score, you don't even have to take out Sesko and bring in Havertz or Merino. No, for those last 20 minutes, you can take out one defensive midfielder, whether it's Partey or Zubimendi, you drop Rice to the number 6 if he's starting as the number 8, and then you have 2 strikers on the pitch at the same time. At that point, you're not really depending on Havertz to score for you the goals or really depending on Merino to score for you the goals. No, you still have a Sesko on the pitch who's an actual striker, but you just added something to that, because in terms of running into the box, Havertz and Merino do it very well in terms of running into the box later on, like after the cross. Because Havertz, he's still our top scorer. He misses a lot of chances, and that is why we cannot depend on him. But in terms of running into the box and, getting at the end of those chances and giving the defenders something to do in terms of physicality and all that, imagine if you have Sesko and Havertz and Merino on the pitch at the same time in the last 10 minutes, someone is going to score a header there, surely. If you put in those, someone is going to score a header somewhere there, surely. So let's see, but he played very well yesterday, Zubimendi. He was not terrible, as I saw someone saying. If Arsenal buys Rodrigo and they have Saka on the other side, that's such a dream, Cabs. That sounds so good. Rodrigo on one wing and Saka on the other. That sounds so good. And then you need Gyökeres to put the goals inside. Arsenal will regret if Gyökeres joins any other Premier League team. So far, there's no one who has really made a bid. So if he's going to leave, maybe it's going to be very late in the month or maybe next month. I want Sesko, Rodrigo, Zubimendi, a keeper. Kepa is fine, and rotational CBN, I'll be happy, says Cookie. So no attacking midfielder for you or anything like that. I think it's also unrealistic to expect like 7 signings. So I think it's going to be like 4 or 5. Sesko, Rodrigo, Zubimendi, Kepa, and a rotational center back. I would give that transfer window a 9 out of 10. Depending on who the rotational center back is, if you manage to pull it off. If you're able to get someone, now Sane would not be my first choice at all. As I've told you guys before, there's a lot of other wingers I'd go for, but depending on who the rotational center back is there, if you add Sane to that list, together with Rodrigo and Zubimendi and Sesko and another center back and Kepa for 5 million and a rotational center back for cheap as well, and Sane for free, then I think it becomes a 10 out of 10. Maybe a 9.5. If you throw for me Gyökeres there, then it becomes a 10 out of 10. Or if you sign Sesko and then you throw for me there another number 10 or another number 8, even ahead of another center back, then it would be a 10 out of 10 transfer window. But it would definitely be better than what it was last summer. Kepa is good for Arsenal, says Bernard. Sesko is some good news. At least teams are doing business. We are very slow, says Chris. Christopher says wanted Gyökeres. I did too. Xavi Simons is better than Zubimendi. They don't play the same position though. Xavi Simons is an attacking midfielder. Zubimendi is a defensive midfielder who's going to control the game. So different. The Xavi Simons, we can say. So what I've just said here, Christopher, from Cookie's comment about us getting an extra number 10, number 8. If Xavi Simons is that player, or Morgan Rogers is that player, or Eze is that player, or Ryan Shaki is that player, then it becomes a 10 out of 10 transfer window. But it shouldn't be Zubimendi or Xavi Simons. It should be Xavi Simons or Eze or Rogers. I love your analysis, says Quinto. I appreciate it. Let me see the vote. I put a poll yesterday asking you guys who would you take between Eze and Rogers. Let me see. So far, 58% have said Eze, 42% have said Rogers. Wow, more people want Eze ahead of Rogers. Now that's interesting. Rajab says, don't talk about Havertz. Capital letters. Don't talk about Havertz. We need a striker. Those two never helped us. I've not said I want Havertz to start games. There's no way I've said that. But Havertz is going to be an Arsenal player next season. So we're going to talk about him whether we like it or not. Havertz is not going to be sold. So he's going to be here next season. And Havertz is going to play. So Rajab, that is just the bad news for you. He is going to play. So I don't want him to start. But I've said if you're bringing in Havertz off the bench to be the second striker next to the striker that you already have, and you're not depending on Havertz to score for you 2 or 3 goals, I don't have a problem with that. Because I've said these other things that Havertz does on the pitch. He's not the best goal scorer in the world. Definitely nowhere. He misses a lot of open chances. But yeah, if you bring him in as a second or third striker at the same time when the game is 0-0 with 50 minutes to go, I would rather bring in Havertz than bring in Butler or Edeji from the bench. That is just my opinion. Godfrey says, thanks for the update for me. Kepa is a good option. I agree. How are you, Manaser? I really need the left wing and a striker, please. Even if it's Lookman, it's okay to go. Yeah, for me, Lookman, Rodrigo, Nico Williams, just get anyone. Maxim says still stories on the striker. I don't like this Arsenal guys. If it's Sesko or Gyökeres, let them bring. It's looking very likely that it's going to be Sesko. Is signing a centre back really a priority for the Gunners? Says Omwami. Not a priority, no. I yesterday on the show I think they mentioned Kivior. They said if Kivior is going to stay, we are going to take a little bit of time. But I think we definitely need a defender because of the injuries. Right now, as we're speaking, I think we have 3 fit defenders. Gabriel is still out. He might miss a bit of preseason. Timber has just done a surgery as well. Ben White has picked up like 3-4 different injuries this season. Calafiori has picked up like 4-5 different injuries this season. Saliba is currently injured. He didn't even play for France yesterday. Tierney is leaving. Zinchenko might end up leaving. Napoli want Kivior. So the only defenders we have right now that are guaranteed we could actually say Lewis Kelly only, and Lewis Kelly is not even a defender. He's actually a midfielder. So if you look at that, Tomiyasu is injured as well. So we have, if everyone was fit, we would never ever need a defender. But because of the injuries and the players leaving, Zinchenko and Tierney, we do need a defender. Because again, do we really want to see Partey playing as right back next season again? I don't really want that. But imagining Gabriel is fit and Saliba is fit and Timber is fit and White is fit and Kive is staying and Lewis Kelly is playing as a left back and Calafiori is there. I feel like a fit Calafiori is a very good player. That is what I feel, especially going forward. Calafiori is really good. Lewis Kelly is very good. Obviously, we know that. But I think we'll need a defender. No, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, though. It can be even a 10 million backup or something. I'm happy with that. But yeah, it shouldn't be that. It should be like the last signing, not now. Let's see. Musa says, to be honest, Glenn, I don't want to miss Gyökeres, but to miss them, I hope Sesko, whoever we sign, is good. Now, it has to be good. As I've said before, whoever we sign, it has to work out, because we really need a striker. If you sign another striker and then it doesn't work out, it's a problem. We have the striker that we sign has to work out. Let them make the two signings, that's Rodrigo and Gyökeres. They will be enough. Plus, Mendy says, Maxim. I don't think that is enough. You obviously need a backup goalkeeper. And I would dream of a number 10, and not a number 10 necessarily, a number 8, someone who's going to play next to Odegaard when you need to really attack. Solomon says, thanks for updating us, but for me, it's a keepers, Mendy, Gyökeres, and Lookman. Not a bad Gyökeres, Lookman would be totally great. It would be Mendy and a keeper. That's great. 4 signings. That's probably what it's going to be. Wouldn't you like I would want a 5th signing, either a backup for Saka. Okay, not maybe backup for Saka. Nwaneri is there. A player like Rogers or Aneza, I know it's very expensive, but someone who plays like that. And then maybe someone else would say a second striker next to a Sesko. But I mean, if you get both Sesko and Watkins, and then you also get Rodrigo, then that is probably a 10 out of 10 transfer window. Did you see the last interviews? Many of these guys seems not to be ready to join Arsenal. To be fair, there's no player who really says whoever gets asked, are you going to this team? And they're like, yeah, I'm going to there. Nah, there's no player who usually says that. Even Xabi Alonso, he was asked, are you going to leave Leverkusen for Real Madrid? He said, nah, I don't know where you guys are getting this news from. The very next day, the very next morning, he was in Spain holding a Real Madrid shirt. So there's no one who really says, yeah, I'm definitely going there. Zubimendi will be an Arsenal player. In my head, Zubimendi is already an Arsenal player. So the transfer has taken too long to sell for striker. Up to now, no bid made either for Sesko Gyökeres. If Arsenal are not going to be quick in the market, you're going to lose both and end up buying another Kai. So disappointing, says Brian. I'm watching from Sierra Leone, West Africa, says John. If Arsenal miss on Redao, okay, not yet. If Arsenal miss out on Gyökeres, then I hope whoever we sign is good for us. That's my prayer. I hope this time around we should not talk and do less with regards to quality player signing, says John. Yeah, right now we need quality. I also think we need quantity, but I would do that by keeping most of the players. So Kivia, I would keep him. Havertz, I would keep him. Trossard, I would keep him on the bench. Because if you sell those players, another reason why I don't agree with selling Havertz and selling Martinelli, okay, if you sell Havertz and Martinelli and you don't want Merino as well, so if Sesko joins us and then gets injured for 2 months, then what are we going to do? We don't have anyone else to play there. Now, ideally, again, I know you didn't really want Havertz to be like the second choice striker and play for you for 3 months when Sesko is injured. No. But you need other players. You need rotation, because these Carabao Cups and FA Cup, I don't want to get out of the FA Cup in the first round again. I want us to go farther. All these competitions. In the Champions League, there's now 8 games in the league phase. For example, Sesko doesn't have to play all 8 Champions League games in the league phase. No problem with Havertz starting up front in 1 or 2 of those games in the Champions League. If you're comfortable and you've already won 3 out of 3 games, in the 4th game, you can rotate and rest Sesko for the Premier League game against Man City coming up. You have to rotate. You just have to. That is what I want. I don't want Havertz to play 90 minutes and we depend on him scoring the whole game. No, but if you can count on for 20 minutes, sometimes play next to Sesko, sometimes start and then get subbed off, that is fine. Daystar says all we need now is a backup keeper, left winger, right winger, central midfielder. Daystar has a big shopping list there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just do this for us. No more Netflix season. Keeper, we are going to get left winger, hopefully right winger. I don't think we're going to get a right winger. Central midfielder, I guess that is going to be Zubimendi. Attacking midfielder, I'm hoping that could be like a Rogers or someone. And then a second striker. From the players we've been linked to, you'd want Kepa, Rodrigo. Right winger, we've not been linked to a lot of people. Zubimendi, Rogers, and Watkins. Imagine that. That would be crazy. But that probably won't happen. I'm expecting at least 4 signings, maybe 5 at most. I think we are going to get a defender because of the players leaving. Let's see, though. But for me, get me this guy here. I would be very, very happy. If you can try and also get this guy, and know it's very difficult to get both Rogers and Rodrigo at the same time. You know, I wanted Gyökeres, but it's looking like it's going to be Sesko, as someone said in the comments. Fine, go and get him as soon as possible. Zubimendi, someone else says Zubimendi doesn't look like he wants to join Arsenal. I'm sure he will be an Arsenal player in the next couple of weeks. And then imagine if you had Rodgers and Rodrigo, we'd never complain about chance creation. Like Saka is there, Odegaard is there, then you have Rodgers, and then you have Rodrigo. Oh, that would be a dream for the striker. Even in that scenario, even Havertz would score 30 goals, even if he misses 100 chances, because you're going to get so many chances from Rodgers and Saka and all these guys. But yeah, let's see though. I'm happy with that. So far, we still need to get the deals over the line, but that's the latest for today. I will have another video as always later on. I'm sure there will be more updates. But as of now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.